When I was a little girl in China, I had a very simple childhood. Most families were poor, including mine, so children did not have many toys. Sometimes they did not have toys at all. Neither my sister nor I had any. My little brother had one plastic airplane, and that was the only toy we had in our family. I was always happy to play with my siblings or the other kids in the neighborhood without toys. But one day, when I was 6 years old, I went to my neighbor Mayleen's house and saw that she had a toy piano that could both be played and play music on its own. I immediately fell in love with that toy piano, and I thought it was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen in my life. When I came home that day, I asked my mother to buy me a toy piano like the one Malin had. My mother said we could only find one in the downtown shops of a big city. A small village like ours did not have shops that sold fancy toys. So I said okay, but the toy piano stayed on my mind. I kept waiting for my mother to go downtown. I knew she often made trips to get house supplies or visit my Aunt Jeanine. One day, she finally did. Right before she left, I asked her if she could bring me a toy piano. I added that I would be happy to have any that she could find in the toy shop. Mother did not promise me. Instead, she said, "I will see what I can do." I waited anxiously that day, sitting on the threshold. I kept hoping to see my mother coming home with a toy piano in her hands. But when she finally appeared, there was no toy piano. I could not even describe how disappointed I felt. But even though I was sad, I did not ask my mother why, because I had guessed that the toy piano was probably too expensive for her. For some reason, though, I could not let go of the idea of having a toy piano. So I waited patiently for the next time my mother went downtown. Before she left, I asked again, "Mama, can you please bring me home a toy piano?" My mother did not promise this time either. She just said, "I will see what I can do." Again, I waited patiently by the window, hoping to see my mother coming home with a toy piano. The same thing happened. She came home empty-handed. If I had to pick a word to describe how I felt this time, it would be heartbroken. I did not know why I wanted the toy piano so badly, and it was the only toy I had ever wanted. I asked my mother to bring me home the toy piano every time she went to the downtown shops. However, the result was always the same. She did not bring the toy piano any of the times she came home. I never blamed her, though, because I knew she spent all her money on food for us. There wasn't anything left for a fancy toy like the toy piano. I never asked my father for anything because he always looked so serious, and I was a little afraid of him. Then I decided I wanted to make it happen myself. I stopped asking my mother about the toy piano. I did not have a piggy bank, but every year on Chinese New Year, my father would give me and my siblings 2 red envelopes, each with money inside. It was not much, but it was something for a kid. I saved up all of my red envelope money for 3 years. I remembered I had about 80 yuan. I had asked Malin how much her toy piano cost, and she told me it was about 65 yuan. So I was ready to get myself the toy piano. I took a motorcycle ride downtown. Motorcycles were like taxis in my hometown, and the ride cost me 5 yuan. I was dropped off in the downtown center where all the shops were. I saw a big toy shop right next to a clothes shop in the middle of the street. I was about to walk into the toy store when I saw a beautiful dress in the window of the clothes store. It caught my attention. That dress would look just perfect on my mother. I stared at that dress for a few minutes, and I thought to myself, Mother has not gotten a new dress for years because she spends all her money on her 3 children. Wouldn't that dress be a nice gift for her? I knew I had to decide between the toy piano and the dress. It did not take me long to make a decision. I walked into the clothes store and asked the shop owner how much the dress cost. The shop owner said it was 100 yuan, but I knew everything could be bargained for in my hometown, so I said, all I have is 70 yuan, but I really would love to get this dress for my mother. The shop owner asked, do you know your mother's size? I answered, I don't, but I know she is about the same size as that mannequin in the window. The shop owner smiled and said, that is a medium. Okay, I will sell it to you for 70 yuan. Your mother will be very happy when you give her this dress. You're a good daughter. I spent my last 5 yuan on the motorcycle ride home. When I gave the dress to my mother, she was very surprised. I explained that I had used my red envelope money, but I did not mention the toy piano. Mother tried it on, and there were tears in her eyes when she looked in the mirror. I was too little to understand the tears, but I knew my mother liked the dress very much because she wore it often. As for me, I never got my toy piano. Even later, after I had more red envelope money, even after earning money working part-time in college, even after I got my first full-time job and could afford to buy 10 toy pianos, I often wondered how I would have felt if I had gotten a toy piano when I was a kid. I will never know the answer, but one thing I know for sure is that I love my mother more than any toy piano in the world. The end.